we are talking about compensation. I want us to spend the remaining time to talk about the political direction of this country because we are seeing a lot of political parties in different situations. Your party, ODM, is in turmoil. Your NEC fired the Secretary General. He's back in office on the strength of political parties' disputes tribunal. But I'm not sure he's working anywhere. What is the direction of ODM from here?
You know, when a section of ODM leaders started enjoying the privileges and largesse of associating with this kleptocratic regime, they forgot the values of our party. And they are now trying to push away those who do not agree with the irregular sale of our party to William Ruto. And that is why they irregularly kicked out the SG of our party. The SG of Orange Democratic Movement is none other than Edwin Sifuna. And we are going to rally behind Edwin Sifuna at whatever cost. I know because of the pressure they have, they will try to intimidate us with ejecting us from committees, and we are ready for that. Instead of them trying to cohesively bring this team together, they are further being pushed because of what they are earning with that particular association, trying to push us out of that party. They are the ones who will leave. I know they are being aided by the regime to try and alter even documents and even our constitution and all that.
What do you mean by that?
I mean exactly that.
The regime, meaning?
The Kenya Kwanza, ODM, the association you see doing rallies in Mombasa and all this, are being sponsored from State House. That is the truth. Our account has never been signed. No money has been withdrawn from the ODM account that usually facilitates this kind of...
Why can't you use the ODM kitty?
Because we do not have activities as yet. We've not agreed on activities that need to be carried out.
How much did Tononoka cost?
Lots of money. People were being bribed. There are videos of people being bribed to even attend the poorly attended rallies. And I want to tell you... How
much did they cost? You have a figure?
I'm told the entire weekend, they spent close to 50 million because they were in Lamu, they were in Kilifi, they were in various other places. And I'm telling you
how does the money flow?
The money, that one I cannot demonstrate, but I can tell you we are well aware. ODM, every rally we do, we never influence people with money to attend our rallies.
Sorry.
People just come...
You've said the money is coming from State House to finance ODM operations.
Yes.
You've given a figure of 50 million shillings for the ODM team at the coast.
For the entire weekend.
So how do they receive this money?
They are brokers. You've heard Rigiji talk about the brokers. I've heard him say one time. The brokers receive the money and share it. And I even wonder if they all receive that money.
Who are they?
The people you see aggressively defending this regime, they are the people who are eating with a big spoon at this point. That is the truth. And I'm telling you today,
so
we will not leave this ODM. The ODM is our party. If they want to go to UDA, let them go. And today, I want to address...
Been removed.
Who?
SG.
SG has not been removed. You don't do that irregularly. We have a constitution. We have a party constitution, and beyond that, we have a constitution in this country. You don't do things at the whim of William Ruto because, do you know I was in Mombasa at Pride Inn on that day? The NEC meeting ended at 1 p.m. And do you know what the resolutions were? We are going to reprimand Sifuna and, of course, ourselves, myself, Kina Onyonka, Kina Giseiro, Barongo, and all the other, Hamisi, and all the other MPs. And that was what they said they are going to do, reprimand. Do you know what they did? When they stepped out, they were called and told, hey, go back into that meeting and remove that man from that office. They went back, and that is why you saw the press conference was way after 1 p.m. because the meeting had ended at 1 p.m. So what we are saying... What?
Which day was this, that this meeting was happening?
It was on, was it Tuesday or Wednesday of last week?
Okay.
And I want to tell you today, this continued attack on the opposition by the executive, and the opposition, I mean those of us who do not agree with this regime, is going to destroy political parties and is destroying the fabric of this country. Because when you listen to people out here, people are beginning to talk more about tribes. And we had gotten away from that. People are beginning to talk more about protecting themselves.
Let's listen to this.
And I want to finish this.
Just hold on.
To finish this.
I'm still with you. Yeah. Let's listen to the voices of the National Executive Council of ODM as they made an announcement of the decisions made by the party. Watch this.
Having deliberated on matters relating to the conduct of the Secretary General, Senator Edwin Sifuna, the NEC resolved to remove him from office with immediate effect in accordance with the party constitution and applicable laws. The NEC expressed grave concern over the rising levels of indiscipline within the party, particularly at the senior leadership level. The committee underscored that ODM is governed by its constitution, the rule of law, and collective decision-making through its duly constituted organs.
I'm not very happy that when we pass resolutions here, some of the members of this committee, some of the members of the Central Committee, who are policymakers of this party, go out to say exactly the contrary of what we have agreed in committees.
Effectively, the Deputy Secretary General, Honorable me, yours truly, Catherine Omanyo, will act in this position until a substantive holder of the position is elected.
Okay, Honorable me.
Yes.
That's an interesting one.
Look at even the caliber.
SG Sifuna, please don't cast aspersions against your fellow leaders. I don't think it's fair. SG Sifuna, okay, Senator Edwin Sifuna, let me call him that for now, spoke the following day and said this.
I remain a loyal member and the duly elected Secretary General of the ODM party. At no time have I been informed of any allegations against me. Neither have I been invited to respond to any complaints in and out of the party on any matter that would constitute grounds for removal of a Secretary General. And fight we shall. Through all lawful means, we shall fight for this great institution until the very end. We will challenge every illegality in the courts of law and in the court of public opinion. My only crime is that I have refused and I oppose any plans and schemes within the party to support President William Ruto's re-election, because I have held and continue to hold the firm position that this country cannot afford another 5 years of this expensive, divisive, incompetent and disastrous Ruto misadventure.
The problem in ODM is President Ruto. We are asking President Ruto to let...
All right, that is SG Sifuna speaking earlier on, and later on Governor of Siaya, James Orengo. I'll come back to Mheshimiwa Kibageni, but I want to hear from your partner party, that is from UDA, because UDA is working with ODM. You're aware of that, aren't you?
No.
Partner party. Mheshimiwa Matenge, so as this conversation continues,
yes,
is that the party you want to be in coalition with for 2027?
You see, the party that UDA and Kenya Kwanza went into an agreement with is not the current party, ODM. Mm-hmm. And here is my reasoning.
Yeah.
I have heard the Honorable Sifuna, Senator Sifuna, say he has been a royal member. Yet, in Kitengela, Kibagedi was there. Mm. Kibagedi, since last year until now, has been walking around with Matiang'i, who is the head of Jubilee. Which one? No. We are talking about ODM. Don't bring Azimio in. We are talking about... It is ODM that is exploding. It is not Azimio. So, let's concentrate on ODM. ODM, I will liken it to the estates. And I'll call it the political estate of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. And despite an existing will, where the will is, I am corroborating with the Kenya Kwanza. Now, the sons, the daughters, the relatives, and the clan have all come and they are fighting, they are disputing the will, and they are fighting for this estate. And the Kitengela Lali, what I saw...
Who's the custodian of the will?
Well, in fact, once the will is made, and the head of the family passes on, in fact, there's a will that is read. So in ODM, apparently, the will was public, because those who were saying Raila left us corroborating with UDA. You know, that was the public will. It has become contested. Now, in Kitengela, was it ODM or was it the I am Sifuna? And therefore, there is the question of all this disorganization. Yeah. That at one time, we want to claim it was an ODM event, but we branded it so differently to the I am Sifuna. The dust in ODM will settle. However, just like in all protracted inheritance battles, sometimes it takes quite a long time. And in the process, the estate does become vandalized. ODM must be careful so that the political estate of Raila Odinga does not become vandalized.
That I agree.
So what will you do as UDA? You need a partner, don't you?
As UDA at this point in time, one, we are engaging ourselves in strengthening UDA as a party. We've had grassroots elections that are continuing. But at the same time, we are also speaking about the desire of going into the next elections with an expanded coalition. And as a member of ODA, my personal view is that actually UDA should go to the next elections under a government of national unity. So the conversations have just started.
What is that?
If I would be allowed, when you look, I'll take you back to Kibaki's win in 2002. The arrangement that eventually propelled Kibaki into power. Initially, he had the Kibaki, Ngilu, and Wamarwa axis. But towards the end, we saw Laila and Saitoti and the others come together and form what was then referred to as the National Labour Coalition. That National Labour Coalition, to me, was actually the best form of government of national unity we've ever had. I will encourage and I will continue voicing this desire within UDA that as we progress towards August 2027, we should be able to put together a formation that will form and carry the formation of government of national unity.
Only that NAC was the opposition coalition.
No. It wasn't.
NAC was the opposition.
You see, when Kibaki, I've said, when Kibaki got into power.
No, that you've had your time. Mheshimiwa Mbui, your take about this.
Yeah, I first and foremost, I'm very unhappy about the split in ODM. ODM is a bigger brother of Wipers. We've been together in 2013 in CORD coalition. In 2017, we were in NASA, and then last election, we were in Azimio together. And we are still in Azimio together, despite a few voices that seem to imply that we can be out of Azimio. We can, in fact, the reason why it would be difficult for ODM to get out of Azimio is because, the Secretary General must be the one that signs that agreement, and the Secretary General is not ready to leave Azimio. And at the same time, if they do that, they have to give that document to the current party leader of Azimio, who is none other than His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. But personally, I think this fight is not good for us. I'm not happy with the fight. I wish that ODM could stick together and do what Baba did. Baba brought us together for a purpose of winning political power. Now for the opposition or our opponents to be the ones that are dividing us is really unfortunate, because UDA were our opponents. I mean, it's funny how people forget so fast. 2022 is just a few years ago.
Yep.
When William Ruto was fighting for political office against Raila Amolo Odinga. And now 2, 3, 4 years later, some people are singing how William Ruto is the Messiah. And just a few days ago in Pipeline, he stood out there in public and said, hii Azimio tuliwanyorosha asubuhi mapema. Who was he insulting? He was insulting the late Raila Amolo Odinga. That was his opponent. How can people in ODM not listen to what Ruto keeps saying and the disrespect that he keeps showing our coalition all along? So I want ODM to hold together and do what Baba wanted, which is to stick together and win the political leadership of the country.
Given the circumstances,
it is possible because quite a lot. Okay, first and foremost, my opinion is members of ODM are very solidly in Azimio. Very solidly in Azimio. A few leaders have jumped.
The party leader of ODM said Azimio is dead. And
the party leader that brought us into Azimio is the late Raila Amolo Odinga. There is a split now.
Oburu.
I'm not in ODM. I still recognize my Azimio leader as Raila Amolo Odinga, who unfortunately is not with us anymore. Yeah. And I still listen to everything Raila said. And somehow remind you the very last thing Raila said before he went to be with his maker. In a function in Agile Hotel, the last political function, he said, who told you that ODM is not going to have a candidate in 2027? And that was because there are people who imagined that ODM would support William Samoei Ruto. Probably ODM was going to support Kalonzo Musyoka.
So that's the last public win.
That was the last public communication by Baba.
You are to come to me. And
yes,
what I would like to say,
time will not allow me.
What I would like to say,
20 seconds.
ODM needs to come together. We need to weave ourselves together. We need to stop the aggressive fight that is being funded by the state. ODM can rebuild, ODM can still come together and identify with the feeling of Mwananchi. The feeling of Mwananchi is that William Ruto and his regime have to go in 2027.
Okay.
Thank you.
It is also important to tell the viewers that Anthony Kibagendi once upon a time worked for Deputy President William Ruto.
Who has changed.
Thank you so much. Mheshimiwa Robert Mbui, Mheshimiwa Duncan Mathenge, Anthony Kibagendi for making time for us of this conversation. Of course, apologies from Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Gladys Boss, who was not able to join us on account of transport challenges. That's our time. My name is Sam Kituku. See you again some other time. Bye for now.